Hello everyone, welcome to Vishesh Educational Videos. In this video, I am explaining about different types of APIs such as CH1, FCH1, LCH1 and user time, that is Utime. So if you are not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. To get the notification of my new videos, please click the bell icon. And please don't forget to like the video and please don't forget to share the video with your friends. So let me begin the explanation of these different APIs such as CH1, FCH1, LCH1 and Utime. So before explaining this APIs, first you need to understand what is ARGC and ARGV in Unix. So ARGC and ARGV. So ARGC is nothing but argument count. It is going to store the number of command line arguments passed by the user, right? So it includes the name of the program also. You can see here. So this is the example. You can understood the difference here. First of all, ARGV is the array. ARGV is the array. ARGC is the command line argument. ARGV is the array to store the command line arguments, right? If ARGC is greater than 0, the array elements starts from ARGV of 0. Just remember that. ARGV of 0 always contains the name of the program. See, it's very simple. So here my command is /a.out first, second, third. So this is the command line arguments. ARGC is nothing but it's going to give the count of the command line arguments. Whatever the arguments you are going to type in the ARGC will be stored in the array called ARGV. So ARGV always starts from the index 0. Getting, guys? So ARGC, so you can see there. And one more important thing, ARGV of 0 always contains the name of the program or name of the command. So here a.out is the program, name of the program or the command. So first a.out will be stored in ARGV of 0 and other arguments, command line arguments will be stored in ARGV of 1, ARGV of 2, ARGV of 3, like that. So if you execute this, you can see there the program name. What is the command here? Command line argument. I am talking about command line argument. So what is the command you are executing here? A.out. What are the arguments you are giving to that program? A.out, first, second, third. So the first will be stored in ARGV of 1, second will be stored in ARGV of 2, third will be stored in ARGV of 3. So total number of arguments. How many arguments you are storing? 4 arguments you are storing. The first slot ARGV of 0 contains the program name. Getting, guys? You can see here. Now you understood, right? Hope you are understanding. So ARGC contains the number of command line arguments passed by the user, including the name of the program. Here my name of the program is a.out. So if you pass a value of a program, value of ARGC will be 2. One for argument and one for program name. You know that. So ARGV is an array. So it contains all the arguments. ARGV always starts from 0. Right? So it's going to, ARGV is going to store all the arguments of ARGC until it reaches -1. You know that. So it's going to store any number of arguments. Right? Getting, guys? Next, now you know the difference between ARGC and ARGV. ARGC is the command line argument. ARGV is the array to store the command line argument. Right? Now, what is a CH1 function? Now you can ask the question, why you explained ARGC and ARGV? Because in this video, right, in the last segment of this video, I'm going to explain the program. There, if you know the ARGC and ARGV only, you can understand the program. Otherwise, you can't understand the program. That's why I explained ARGC and ARGV here. Right? So the CH1 function changes the user ID and the group ID of the file. Very simple. The ch1 function is used to change the user ID and group ID of the file. The prototype for this ch1 function is, you can see ch1 function contains the argument path name, and it's going to contain the other two arguments, user ID and the group ID, and the user ID and group ID is going to be stored in the data types called data types, derived data types called user ID underscore t, gid underscore t. So using a ch1, I can change the user ID and the group ID of a particular file. In the same way, fch1, and one more important thing, the path name argument is the path name of a file. You know that the user argument specifies the new user ID to be assigned to the file. If you want to change the new user, world user, you can use user uid. You can see here uid you can use. If you want to change the group, new group ID to the particular file, you can change that using the gid data type, right? And one more important thing, so fch1, what is the difference here? fch1 main difference here, the first argument is not a path name here. For a ch1, the first argument is path name. For fch1, the first argument is the file descriptor. First of all, to change the user ID of a file, to change the group ID of the file, you need to identify the location of the file. How we are going to do that in the ch1 case means, by the path name you are going to find out the particular file. In fch1, you are going to find the particular file using the file descriptor. Once the file is found, you can change the user ID of that file, or you can change the group ID of that file. You can change the old values to the new values. So what is lch1? lch1, you can see here again the first argument is a path name, the second argument is a user ID, and this third argument is the group ID. ch1 and lch1 is right, they are one and the same, you can see there. So these functions are used to change the user ID and group ID of a particular file. They are going to change the old values to the new values. If you want to change the old values, you can do that. So this is the program to illustrate the ch1 function. So you can see there are header files, iostream.h, systype.h, systat.h, unistd.h, password.h. These are all the header files. So see, so iostream, why I am using means I am using printing cout, C error I am using here, that's why I am using a iostream.h header. So you can see there the execution start from the main function. Main, I am passing the command line argument and ARGC and ARGV to the main function, you can see there. So remember, I am illustrating a ch1 function. ch1 function mainly used to change the user ID and the group ID. So you can see there ARGC greater than 3. Why ARGC greater than 3? Why ARGC greater than 3 means, you can see there the first one is the username to be assigned to the file. So what will be there in a ARGV of 0? ARGV of 0 contains the username. So after that, the second and any subsequent argument contain the path names, file path names. ARGC greater than 3 means you can have any number of files. You can have any number of files. You can give any number of files to change the username and the user ID and the group ID. That's why ARGC greater than 3. You can see there ARGV of 0 contains the username, right? And the remaining right, so it contains the username and the file name also. You can see the first one is the username to be assigned to the files. The second argument is any subsequent arguments are file path names. Don't get confused here, right? So you can see there struct password get pwid argv of 1. What is the meaning of this? The program first converts the given username to the user ID through get pwid function. What it is going to do? This function is going to change, it's going to convert the username to the user ID. You are converting your username to the user ID. You can ask a question, where is the username? Username is present in the argv 0. I already told you, username is the first one, and the first argument username will be stored in the argv 0. The second thing will be the file paths that will be stored in argv 1 and argv 2, right? Why we need file path? Because you have to change the user ID of the particular file. If you know the file path only, then you can change the file user IDs, group IDs. That's why. So before that file information, you are going to store the username in argv 0. So other path names are the other addresses of the files will be stored in argv 2, argv 1, argv 3, like that. It can be greater than 3. Don't get confused, guys. Suppose if you have any doubts, you can still post your doubts in the comment section. So here what I am doing means I am converting my username to the user ID using the function get pwid, right? So where is your username? User ID is going to be stored. User ID is going to be stored argv 1 is going to be stored in argv 1. You can see there, right? So if user ID is user ID underscore minus 1, definitely it is going to print invalid username, and it's going to print invalid username. You can see there, stat of argv 5, stat, why we use stat function to mainly to retrieve the attributes. In the argv 5, what is the argv 5? I is equal to 2. What is the argv 2? Argv 2 contains the file, right? You know that whatever the file you are going to change the username and the group ID, that file will be stored in the argv 2. You are going to take that. You need to take that attributes using a stat function. Then you are going to change that using a attributes, using a user ID attribute, using a chown function. argv 5 means what? In I, what is there actually, right? So argv 1, that user file will be there. You are going to take that and you are going to change that, right? So it is very simple. The program first converts a given username to the user ID through get pwid function. If that succeeds, the program processes each named files as follows. It calls stat to get the file group ID, then it calls chown to change the file user ID. You can see stat, why I am using stat is mainly to get the file group ID. You can see stat is mainly used to get the group ID. chown is mainly used to change the user ID, file user ID, right? Hope you are understanding. First I am getting the attribute, then I am changing that attribute, right? Suppose if you have any doubts, please post your doubts in the comment section, right? So next is Utime function. So the Utime function modifies the access time and the modification timestamps of a file. If you want to change the last access time and last modification time of a file, you can do that using a Utime function. The prototype of the Utime function is, you can see that the argument is path name, is the first argument is the path name, the second is the Utime buff. This is the buffer, right? This is the second argument, you can see here. So on success it returns 0, on failures it returns -1. Obviously if this function is a success it returns 0, if it's a failure it returns -1. So the path name arguments, as you know, it specifies the path name of a file, because you are changing the file, you are modifying the file access time and modification type. First of all, for that you need a file, that's why you need a path name. The time argument specify the new access time and modification time for the file. If you want to change the time, you can easily do that. You can give the new time in the second argument, UTI MBUF, right? The struct UTI MBUF is defined in the utime.h header. This function UTI MBUF, the structure UTI MBUF is defined in the utime.h header. So what it actually contains? So first the structure contains access time, and it is going to contain modification time. You can change the access time also, modification time also using this UTI M buffer, So it is a derived data type. Time underscore t is a derived data type. It is going to store this access time details and modification time details, right? So you can see there the time underscore t data type is an unsigned long, and its data is the number of seconds elapsed since the birth of Unix. That is 12 am Jan 1 of 1970. So the time underscore t, what it contains? So it is the number of seconds elapsed. It contains the details of the number of seconds elapsed since the Unix has introduced. If the time variable is specified as null, the function will set the named file access and the modification time to the current time. So if it is null, what if any of this access time and modification time is set to null, then by default this modification time and access time will be set to the current time, right? And if the time is an address of the variable of the type struct utime, the function will set the file access time and modification time to the value specified by the variable. Very very simple. Here you can change the access time and the modification time by passing the value, by passing the value with a variable. So here, so address of the variable of the type struct utime, the function will set the first file access time and modification time to the value specified by the variable. You can specify any value by the variable. You can pass any value. You can set any value of your choice, You can set any value of your choice. So that's it, guys. Hope you understood the concept. Suppose if you have any doubts, please post your doubts in the comment section. Thank you for watching the video.